Hello, Nadine here, and today I'm going to be making a Halloween shaker card using the Maker's Movement. This is their Happy Haunts stamp set. You can see it has the pumpkins on there, and then you can make the faces of whatever you like on the pumpkin. And this is the coordinating die set, Happy Haunts die set. So as the housing scenery, and then the dies that go with the pumpkins. Okay, so I cut out the theme, or the house theme background. Whatever. Okay, so I cut out the house scene here. I cut that out 4 times, and I also cut the bats out 8 times because I'm going to do 2 different bats. So what I'm going to do is layer these all up on one another. So I'm going to use my Xyron sticker maker here. I'm just going to put each one in. And then just pull it through like that. We'll continue this with each one. And then just push it down, each one down. Make sure that the adhesive is on the back of each one well. This one I kind of put in there crooked, so it almost went off the edge, but it is fine. I'll set that aside, and I'm also going to do the same thing with the bats, but I'm going to use my little Xyron X machine here because it's a little bit smaller for the bats. And same thing, press them down, make sure that they're adhered on there well, and then just pull off the plastic. And I like to leave the next layer on the backing like this. It just makes it easier to lay on there and line up. And then I'll peel off both of those layers. And then go to my next one. Like so. And then I'm just going to leave this on here until I'm ready to use it. And then I'm going to repeat the same thing with the bats. So next, I'm taking the 3 pumpkins and putting them in my Misty. And then I'm taking the VersaFine Clair in Summertime. I'm going to ink them up. Try to just stay onto the pumpkin area. And then taking VersaFine Clair in Rainforest. And then a sponge dauber. I'm just going to daub onto the top of the stems of the pumpkins. And then just go ahead and stamp them onto the orange cardstock. And then I'm going to clean my stamps off with some StazOn all-purpose cleaner. Now I'm just picking out some of the faces here, adding them to my pumpkins. And then for the faces, I'm going to use VersaFine Clair. This is Nocturne. Okay, now that I got my pumpkins cut out and with the faces on them and everything, I'm just taking a little sponge dauber with some VersaMagic and Jumbo Java. And I'm just inking up the edges of the pumpkins a little, just so they don't look so perfect, I guess. It dirties them up or something a little. I don't really know how to explain it, but I'm just going to say that it dirties them up. How's that sound? So you can see how that looks. It just gives it a little bit of a shading to them. Okay, so next I'm taking just a card front here. It's the same size as what my card will be. And then I just cut a wavy pattern. This is going to be some clouds. And I'm going to use as a template to just lay along the card. And then first I'm going to use some VersaFine Clair in Nocturne. And then this is a makeup sponge. There's a whole bunch of them that I got off of Amazon, which I will link to at the bottom or in the description box down below, and it'll also be on my website or my blog as well. These are great. They're very, very inexpensive. I believe they're under $15. Probably, if I remember right, it's either like $11 or $13, something like that. And they work awesome without breaking the bank. So I'm just going to start on the template that I made and kind of go outwards towards the actual card front. So it looks like that. And then just moving the template a little bit. I had it there, so now I'll probably just move it to there, and gonna use the Nocturne again, but not gonna go as dark, gonna go lighter. And then next I'm gonna use is VersaFine Clair. This is Twilight. And then down here at the bottom, I'm going to do the Twilight again, but just kind of blend in with a light hand. So far it looks like that. And now taking some VersaFine Clair, this is Medieval Blue. I'm just going to go through and randomly add some of this. And doing the same thing with Fantasia. Okay, so now I'm going to use some sheer shimmer spritz. It usually comes in a bigger bottle like this, but for some reason right now all I have left is just a little tiny bottle. I'm going to hold it back pretty far and just quickly mist over. So it'll give it a pretty shimmer to the background. I'm going to dry that. Now that I have the background dry, I'm going to go in with the VersaFine Clair and the Fantasia again, and I'm just going to go in maybe about an inch all the way around the outside, because let's see, I did cut a frame out, so this is going to be the frame that is going to go onto the background, so I want it just to be a little bit darker on the inside edges on there. There we go, so that's how the background is going to look. Next I'm just going to take just a little bit of white acrylic paint, and then using some water and a fan brush. So I'm just going to flick it like that, just getting little drops. Okay, next thing I did was just punch out a circle, and then taking the sheer shimmer spritz in silver again, I'm going to spray that onto the black cardstock. Now using some StazOn pigment ink. This is Snowflake. I'm just going to take that I just sprayed the sheer shimmer spritz and silver on. Oops. And I'm just going to kind of rub it over the top of the ink pad, but not pushing down really hard because I just want it to just lightly go on there. I'm going to go a little bit heavier on the edges. You could probably use an ink dauber on this too, if a sponge dauber, if you'd feel more comfortable using that, but this works for me. So there we go. Now I'm getting kind of a moon look to it. Okay, so now gathering all my little pieces, I'm going to run these through my Xyron sticker maker again. Little pumpkins. Alright, now taking the frame and using my Xyron Mega Runner, I'm just going to go around the edges of this. Now I'm just taking a piece of acetate. I'm going to stick that right on there. And then cut off the extra. Okay, so now getting an idea of where the frame is going to be onto the card. I'm going to first take the moon and place that. Actually, I'm not going to do the moon. I'm going to do the housing first. Okay, so I'm going to want the housing scene to be right about there, so I can push it down well onto the background. Now that'll give me an idea of where I want the moon to be. I think I'm going to go right about there with it. Maybe over just a tiny bit more. Oops, I might have already stuck it down too much. There we go. And then I'm going to have the bats flying around the moon. And now I'm going to take these pumpkins and decide where I'm going to want them, and I am going to put them on the outside frame. Okay, next taking the Happy Haunting stamp from the Maker's Movement. I'm just going to use it in my MISTI and figured out where I want them at. And I am going to stamp that actually onto my acetate piece here. I just had all that in there so I can figure out how to have it lined where I wanted it lined up at. And I'm just going to use my anti-static powder bag here and then ink up my stamp with some VersaMark and stamp that right onto the front of the acetate. And I'm going to use some silver embossing powder on that. Now I can just go ahead and heat set that. Now that's cooled off. Just go ahead and clean that off, the powder off of the front of my frame. Went ahead and added some double-sided foam tape onto the back of my frame, and now I'm just going to add different sequences in there. And then just take the back of the card, line it up, and then it's a fun shaker. Like that. And then I'm going to adhere that to a card base, and there we go. I have a fun Halloween shaker card. Thank you so much for watching. please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so, and hit the like button if you like my video. Thank you so much. See you next time. Bye-bye.